Namaste. It is that time of the year where we narrate the story of goddess Andal, Goda Devi or Kodai. And we have been doing this for past 4 years. And today is the first day we narrate the story of Andal. And from tomorrow we have the pachurams that will be danced by the students of Kalamandapam. And also we have music kacharis, students of Vinjamuri and Kamalakiran Vinjamuri. And all the 30 days, you are going to have a very gala time if you just turn on the TV and see the activities on YouTube, the activities of Kalamandapam. We're extremely pleased. We have a lot of audience that are following us. And thank you so much. Our kids are very enthusiastic and they really want to perform for you. So without wasting much time, I'll take your permission and start the beautiful story of Andal. And with me, my co-narrator is Kamalakiran Vinjamuri, who is also going to participate in the discourse or the debate or the conversation that we are going to have together. So be a part of it and enjoy the evening. Thank you. Now, Kamalakiran, the story of Andal is very, very powerful. And as we know, that it, because of whatever maybe the people that has invaded us or because the history was like that, somehow the Hindu truth, the Sanatana Dharma, our Hindu truth, was more put under the category of mythology. And that we have to dismiss it, not by way of simply arguing, by way of giving you some proof that things what we read in Ramayana, Ramasetu is a proof of the pudding for that. And Mahabharata, we have seen that the battlefield is there, Kurukshetra is there, and so these are the facts. But for some reason, even us, sometimes we call it mythology. So mythology is a myth, and this is a truth. Whether history has written it or not, because those days the techniques are not there. Once you tell something, the students are so vigilant, they will absorb it and they will be able to repeat it. They need not sit down and memorize anything. They need not sit down and write like the way we have today. But however, that was a technique that they have followed, and the technique was passed on from generation to generation, and it has come to your generation and the next generation and so on and continuing. So this story of Andal will start saying that Andal, how she is born. There was a priest by name Vishnu Chitta, and he lived in Srivilliputturu, and he was a priest. He was
also one of the 12 Alvars.
He is also one of the 12 Alvars. Alvars are those saints of the Vaishnava tradition. And Periyalvar, who originally was called Vishnu Chitta, meaning Vishnu, we all know, Lord Vishnu. Chitta, he was in meditation about the glory of Lord Vishnu all the time. In his chittam, in his heart, in his mind, Lord Vishnu was reveling all the time. That's why he is known as Vishnu Chitta. So Vishnu Chitta was a priest, and he was yearning for a beautiful daughter. And one day what happened, before he went to the temple, he went to the Tulasi Kota, the garden of the sacred basil, and then he was going there and picking up some leaves, the sacred leaves and all that, to do his puja. At which time, he had noticed a little movement in the earth. He said, what could that be? And there, he just moved the earth a little bit, and he saw a little baby. The baby was glorious, shining like moons and stars, and so bright and so pretty. And he felt only the divine being can be like that. Nothing to compare with any human child. That beautiful, that, Andal is. So because for goddess it's always is. So that is what it is. Now, you may say a few words about this.
Sure. So we'll continue the story. So as Andal grew up, she was also like her father, always a Vishnu Chitta, always thinking about Vishnu. And for Margazhi, we're known for the 30 pasturams, 30 days. So, she wrote these pasturams, and if you read the pasturams, it's always about how she would either wake up her friends to go, give Naivedyam to the Lord, or, let's, do Abhishekam, let's give this Alankaram, let's give fruits. That's basically the whole friend group together. They were all only thinking about Vishnu all the time. And so, she grew up like that. And in her mind, and she was sure that for her, she'll only marry the Lord. It came to that. And I think when we say marry, it's not in the physical sense of marriage, but I think for her, she wanted to become one with the Lord, right?
So she felt the absence of Andal.
And only the Lord.
And only the presence of Lord was there even in her. I mean, that shows that she's not a normal child. Yeah. Right? A normal child has certain other needs. And as she was growing up, she was playing around with her friends, and the chores that she picked up on her own was go to different trees and
get the flowers.
Get the flowers, that has beautiful aroma, and then make garlands.
And these are all written in those pasturams.
In the pasturams, they are all written.
That's how we know she did this. It's not because of any.
Yeah, our
she
imagination.
wrote it. Yeah.
It's not our imagination, and she did that. And then she would go to the temple, and her father is already in the temple, and she will offer those flowers to the father, and then she will come home. Like this, she was growing up probably, she was about 10 years old or something like that. She was so immersed in Lord's duties. It was the society were kind of surprised as to why a child of that age has to be so much involved in God's matters. I mean, a child will be playing, whatever in those times, whatever plays that they have, they should games that they have, she should have been playing those. But the thing is, she found friends like that also.
Yeah.
That was interesting. So, as we always say, birds of same feather fly together. Right? So that's what happened. So then she was growing up, and she was about 10 years old, and those were the days that by 10, you're already thinking about the marriage of your child, or the daughter, fundamentally daughters. So those were the times. And now we cannot sit down here and argue, oh my God, why did they want to marry a 10-year-old child? See, those times are different. The thinking was different. The maturity of a child was different. Can we see a little baby born with all the ornaments? Is it possible now to see something like that? So those are the times, and that was so specific for those times. That was very reasonable. That was good. So let us go back to those times. Let's not question. Let's go back to those times and live with Andal and see what all she did. Then she was growing up, and then father was looking for a boy, and she said, oh Dad, don't look for a boy for me. It's already ready. And the father said, who is the boy? She said, Lord Ranganatha. That shocked the father. A normal father, Vishnu Chitta, no doubt he is an enlightened soul.
Right.
But so, however, when it comes to your own children, you could be as enlightened as you could be. But, you feel like, oh my God, my child better get married normally, settle down, give me a couple of grandchildren. This is a normal routine things, that parents yearn for. They want that. So she said, I will marry Ranganatha. And the father, Vishnu Chitta, was very concerned. And he said, well, she's only 10, by the time she's 11 or 12, she'll get over it. She'll get over it. And she'll be a normal child. But then continue. Was she a normal child, Kamalakiran?
She was not a normal
She
child.
was not a normal child. Tell me.
So then, in our tradition, typically, when you do naivedyam or you do for the god, you do everything for the god, then you take as prasadam, right? If you give food, you give the food first, then you take prasadam. If naivedyam is done, then you take the... Or same thing, alankaram, you'll see even now when you go to temples and you do archana, they'll put the sari on the goddess, then they'll give you the sari.
Correct.
In this case, what happened is, I think Vishnu Chitta saw this happening. I think this was a routine for Andal. He happened to see it this day.
Correct.
Where Andal went to the idol, she took a garland from the flowers that she picked from all the trees that she does as her daily routine. She made it into a garland, put it on herself first. After she put it on herself, she then proceeds to offer that same garland to the god.
So let me understand it very correctly. So Andal, 10, 11-year-old Andal, picked up all the flowers and made a beautiful garland put it on God.
Yes,
correct. That
correct.
is the normal thinking.
Correct.
But what Andal did is, Andal wore the garland
Right.
and then looked herself how beautiful she is in that garland, and she wanted to offer the best of the best to the Lord. So she takes, there's nothing better than this garland. So
And then she puts it
on the Lord.
And Vishnu Chitta happens to see this.
This was a routine for her.
Yes.
Then Vishnu Chitta saw it.
And then of course he's a priest, he's always been doing, he's Vishnu Chitta and he has all these traditions that he's following. So he gets very upset with Andal. He said, how can you do this? This is not our way. You cannot do it. He got very upset and she said, what's the problem? I thought I'm
Giving the best.
Giving the best, yeah.
Yeah. See, what happens is, she's wearing it and she's enjoying it, and this is the best thing that's happening, to the Lord. Then with complete dedication and love for the Lord, she puts it on Lord, on the Lord Krishna, and then the father walks in.
The thing
Such a traditional father. I can imagine how angry he would be. He must have been very, very angry at his daughter. Do you think he was angry?
Oh, of course.
And he was. Okay? He was very angry. Then he said, what nonsense is it? You're wearing this is so untraditional, and this is very, very, it's kind of a sin. Are you thinking you're so superior that the Lord would wear your garland?
But for Andal, because she's always, I don't think she's thinking, right? It's just happening. She's not like trying to think, oh, this is a custom, this is not a custom. Once she's already in that kind of world, it doesn't seem like a problem for her.
Yeah, I think she doesn't give even a second thought.
Exactly, yeah.
She doesn't give a second. So what was happening, that it was almost like, as I said, it was so involuntary, like how breathing takes place. You're not thinking that you're breathing, it happens. And just like that, it was happening. Like, she's wearing it, she's putting it on God, and looking at him, the beautiful, how beautiful he is. And the next day, the same routine.
Right.
But the father being a normal father, and
an established priest.
An established priest, right. Yes. And he has a certain way of doing things.
Right.
You make the garland, and probably he has to put some holy waters on it, right. And then he takes it to the Lord and puts it, and then there is a Deeparadhana, there is a procedure there. And nonetheless, it's not that Andal doesn't know, she has been seeing it. But all these things are at the human level. Andal is not human. She's beyond. She's the spiritual master by birth. She's a spiritual.
So,
yes.
If Andal did that, can people today do that? Andal did it. Why can't I wear a garland?
Yeah. Why can't you? Well, if you have the same kind of bhakti that you are ready to marry Lord Ranganatha, then why not? But be very, very careful whether you have that kind of bhakti or not. So at our level, in ordinary people, in an ordinary homes with ordinary aspirations, what we need to do is we have to follow the tradition. The tradition is given there. So we follow the tradition, but this only Andal can do, because she is Andal. And then, then father is very angry. He takes that mala from God's, he was wearing on his body. He takes
it and throws it. Because that's in his mind impure, right?
It's very, very impure. And he comes home and he was very angry at her. And says, we have a beautiful Andal story that we will try to put the clippings there. What is it that you are doing like this? So this is wrong. And then she says, no, the Lord likes it like this, Dad. What do you mean Lord likes it? I know what Lord likes it because I know the tradition. And she's thinking, what is my father talking about? I know the Lord likes it. Then she continues to do, and Vishnu Chitta is very angry. Few days probably this happened. He's throwing the mala out from the Lord, and that's adorned by the Lord. He's throwing the mala.
He's also very stressed that, oh my God, my daughter is like this. What am I supposed to do, right?
Yeah,
he must be worried.
He was probably very much worried. This is a strange behavior. So this is just not a normal behavior that you expect from your children. So then what happens that night? He was very angry. And then he says, I must get you married.
Yeah, she says, I'm going to marry the Lord.
Yeah.
He already accepted my garland.
Yeah, he accepted my garland. Not only that, she is established in the fact that she is going to marry the Lord. And the priest knows that the Lord is not a manifestation. It's not something tangible. The Lord is everywhere. So what is she saying that she's going to marry?
Ranganatha is one like our manifestation.
Yeah. One manifestation. Krishna, Ranganatha, Lord Vishnu, these are all different aspects of the same Lord, the universal being, the controller of the whole universe. So where is he going to catch him? It's not like, it's a definitive figure there.
Right.
That you can say, hey, come over, Ranganatha, sit here. It's not like that. That is the mind of Vishnu Chitta. But the mind of Andal was different. What was she thinking? The Lord is going to. She is as much universal as the Lord. Isn't it?
Right.
So for her there is no limitation. Only Vishnu Chitta could see the limitation. She could not see the limitation. So she is saying, I am going to marry the Lord. And he is saying, where is the Lord? Not that he is questioning the presence of the Lord, but he is questioning
the definitiveness.
Yes, the definitiveness and the probability of a girl marrying an idol. Right?
Right.
And the idol is supposed to respond.
Right.
And this is impossible, and the society was kind of gossiping about it. What is this? Vishnu Chitta's daughter is saying that she is going to marry
the Lord.
The Lord. Then he goes to the temple and he was in utter tears and he says, oh Lord, what is my daughter doing? She wants to marry you. And I know you are there, but I know you are also not in that kind of a shape where you can marry a child like that. And then he says, oh my God, this man, as enlightened as he is, did not realize that his daughter is not a human being. The goddess herself. So the Lord says, don't worry. I don't want you to question these things. Don't worry. The marriage will happen. I will come and marry your daughter. Just carry on with all the things, the pomp and show that's related to a wedding ceremony, whatever you need to do, putting the pandals and inviting the people and calling the cooks and making the food and baja, bhajantri, drums and everything, and there is going so much excitement. The sangeet, the mehendi, whatever we have today, they had it. It came from that tradition only. So all that, you prepare. Don't worry about me not being able to come. I will do my part. He is also not a normal father, understand that. However much, a normal father gets a dream saying, go marry, prepare everything, I'm coming to marry your daughter. Would a normal father really trust that dream?
No. He knows that's divine intervention.
Yeah, Vishnu Chitta knows.
That's what I'm saying. Yeah. Vishnu Chitta knows.
Vishnu Chitta is intelligent enough to understand that the Lord gave the word and the word will happen.
Yes.
Right? It will happen. So then the Lord, all the baja, bhajantri, everything is going on, and the people are saying, where is the groom? Where is the groom? And then Vishnu Chitta, what can a father in that state can say except to wish that his dream will come true? That's all he can do. He was praying that his dream will come true. So the Lord Ranganatha, this Utsavam was going on, the Lord Ranganatha was coming, and then, Andal is all decked up like a bride, and people just are very anxiously waiting, wondering if it is going to happen, and if it happens, What a beautiful thing it is. To witness the wedding, the celestial wedding of Andal with Ranganatha. So they were not pessimistic. They were waiting for the show. That's how it was. They were waiting for the show. And then the Lord comes, and he was coming out of his Srirangam is where he lived. And from Srirangam temple, the charioteers brought the Lord on the chariot. And then Andal, small girl, she was anxious to look how the Lord was looking, because he was coming for the wedding. He's not like his usual self, wearing one angavastram and coming. He's also all decked up and all ready to come and marry Andal. So she was standing near a door, trying to see when the Lord comes so she can, approach him and marry him. So she was standing there, the whole world was looking, and the tradition is that generally when the brides especially, they are expected to be somewhat modest. In that modesty is nothing but they have to be shy. It's kind of a forced kind of a thing on the girls. Somehow we feel, because at my wedding, I wasn't feeling shy. But then I was expected to be shy. And that was kind of a little strange, because I was there to be shy. We distributed the invitation cards and people are coming and the wedding is there and everything is there. What's there to be shy? But then there's some kind of culture. It's not like it's written in Vedas. Nothing like that is written in Vedas. Please understand that. It's not that. It's a drama. There is a joy in that. Seeing the girl being shy and the man is approaching and then she gets married to him. From then on, they walk together. There's a beautiful, they create a drama there. So she was trying to see the Lord. And as I said, I was asked to be shy. I remember my maternal uncle. He said, Vedila, where are they? Don't come out, don't come out. The boy is coming. I said, the boy is coming for me. He's coming for me. And then what am I supposed to stay behind the door? For what? The women's movement, I think it started there in my life. Then I was talking to my uncle, and then of course I had to obey and be whatever they expect me to be. So that was a different thing. But in case of Andal, she was also kind of acting protected. And then she sees the Lord. She forgets. Everything is dismissed except the Lord. She is there, but she dismissed herself also. Automatically, the Lord and Andal merged. Now, this beautiful wedding happened, and this is a book that I'm showing you. This is called The Divine Garland, a translation of my father-in-law's book, Vishnu Chittayam, Kuntimati Seshasarma Garu. That's my father-in-law. He's a great scholar in Sanskrit and Telugu. And he was also chosen as Tirupati Devasthanam Kavi. Wrote many, many books on Vaishnavism, and a very learned scholar. He has written the book on this particular Andal Kalyana. And here, my husband, Dr. Sadananda, he had translated his father's works into English for the benefit of today's children. It's called The Divine Garland. And this Divine Garland is on Amazon, and it's translated by my husband. And my brother-in-law, Kuntimati Sudha Sindhu, he is also participated in this translation, in the sense this whole picture here, as you see it, it's done by him. So I just want to, there are commentary on Goda Devi's 30 Ashrams here. So if you get a chance, pick up the book. It is published by Indic Society, and that is Divine Garland. So with this, the celestial wedding has happened, and Andal Kalyanam we always do it, and we have written, the lyrics are written by Nalini Iyengar, happened to be my sister, and she has done all the lyrics, and the music is set by Subhash Vinjamuri. And we have performed this Andal Kalyanam at Shiva Vishnu Temple, Lotus Temple, name it, in all the temples around Richmond and Bridgewater, Pittsburgh, everywhere we have performed it. And that is, it has stolen the hearts of many audiences. And our children have done it, and we try to put few clippings of that. And thank you, Kamalakiran. I think it was a beautiful experience speaking with you. I know I sit down with you when you are playing violin, but I never knew that, you would talk so beautifully.
There's a couple more things. So in Srivilliputturu, just because we are talking from our family's line now, there is Vinjamuri Yajnamurti, who is my great, also your great grandfather,
1,000 years old.
about 1,000 years back. So we have a very special connection with Margazhi for multiple reasons. One, I'm currently here in India for December season. I'm performing, and December season is all about celebrating Margazhi.
Correct.
So it's about celebrating the arts. That's why the pasturams are usually sung. They're set to tune, they're sung. A lot of, it goes hand in hand, right? They say the best way to pray is also through music or through dance or any of these arts.
It's a Panchama Veda.
Yeah. So that's one connection. Second connection is the family connection, where Vinjamuri Yajnamurti Garu, he was in a debate with Ramanuja,
Bhagavan
Ramanuja,
yes.
who is, I guess, the spearheader of Vaishnavism, right? It was there before then, but he propagated it. So they were in a debate, and Vinjamuri Yajnamurti was about, he was on the edge of winning that debate, and who knows how long the debate went on those days. But that night, Vinjamuri Yajnamurti, just like Vishnu Chitta, also got a divine intervention, vision or a dream, whatever you want to call it, where the Lord said that Ramanuja is a Karana Purusha, or he's born for a certain reason, so he needs to win the debate. So the next day, Vishnu Chitta accepted defeat. Not Vishnu Chitta, Vinjamuri Yajnamurti accepted defeat. And Ramanuja said, you are the Emberman, Ninda Emberman, which means, you are the Emberman. In Ramanuja, even though Vinjamuri Yajnamurti accepted defeat, Ramanuja acknowledged him as a scholar, which is a very big deal coming from Ramanuja himself.
Absolutely. And, the beauty is that this story was told, to me by my, parents. And my parents were taught by his parents and parents and parents and on, to 1,000 years, so it was coming on and on. But at the time, when I heard this story, I was very proud and very happy, and I genuinely thought my parents were relating a story that was told to them. But the thing is, it still remained as a story in my head. It was not a story, it was a real thing. But then, when you hear things like this, because it did happen to you, it's not my experience. I can just dismiss it as
hearsay.
It's a hearsay. But then what happened, after this happened, I was performing at Srivilliputturu festival. Every year they have a government festival in Srivilliputturu. So I went to Srivilliputturu, and my orchestra was there, and I was performing that evening. So in the morning, the EO, the temple executive officer, he was taking me to the temples and all that. And as I was walking, I just mentioned to the EO, see, my parents always talked about Srivilliputturu, and they all walked here. My great grandfathers, they walked on this beautiful land, and I'm so fortunate that I'm dancing here. And he said, who is your family, that you're talking about? I said, my family is a Vinjamuri family. And he stopped and he said, you belong to Vinjamuri family? You're a Vinjamuri girl? And I said, yes. And I saw bright eyes, looking at me, and said, wow, that's very powerful. So then he said, okay, I'll show you something that you'll be very surprised. Then I went around the temple. There are so many Vinjamuri families there around the temple. Around the temple wall, outside the wall, there's so many houses are there, and many of them belong to Vinjamuri. And then they all saw me, We're talking about the connection was left probably in 1,000 years, you know, there's no connection. And then they see a Vinjamuri girl that's going to perform that evening, and they said, wow, you know, each one of them gave me this much of palkova. You know, Srivillikuputta palkova is extremely famous, and there are thousands and thousands of, you know, cows are there. And that it's a beautiful scene, so much of garland, so much of tulasi, the sacred basil, you know, plants are there. It's a very divine thing. And then they gave me, and then Mr. Evo had taken me to the temple. And then he narrated this story himself to me.
And there is a Sannidhi of Vinjamuri Yagnamurti.
And he said, just few years back, we have consecrated your great-grandfather, 1,000 years old. We consecrated his vigraha by the side of the Lord, just like, you know, Bhagavan Ramanuja's vigraham is there. You know, my great-great-grandfather's vigraham is also there. And the story was written, and all the orchestra people came, and they were all really surprised, you know, that somebody they know me, you know, as Mrinaini Sadananda, comes from a family where that 1,000 years back, you know, Bhagavan Ramanuja's contact, and that is an incredible coincidence.
Yeah.
You know,
So that's so many connections we have to Margazhi. So hopefully you'll join us to watch all the pasturams being performed by our Kalamandapam students.
At 15th evening, you know, this story will be told to the general public, and you can tune in. From 16th morning on, we have pasturams. Every day we have one pasturam done by one artist of Kalamandapam. And the evening we have
music students.
Our music students and our dance students will have cultural evening every day for all the 30 days. So this tradition we have established for past 4 years with the help of our directors and, you know, teachers and everybody. We are able to continue this tradition. Thank you all very much, you know, for establishing this beautiful tradition for Kalamandapam. And
thank you.
Thank you very much. Thank you, Kamalakiran. We see a lot of him in Margazhi festival here. And if you happen to come to Chennai, come visit us. Okay, thank you.